So the topic I'm gonna talk about is 6.3 adding and subtracting rational expressions and 6.4 rational equations. In case you have forgot some mathematical terms, so I'll first talk about vocabularies. First vocabulary will be least common denominators and LCD for short. First, I'll give you some examples to explain how to find out the least common denominators. 4 times 3 equal to 12 and 6 times 2 equal to 12. And 12 is the smallest number that is a multiple of both. Let's have a harder one with variable. LCD between s minus 3 and s squared minus 2s minus 3. The first thing we need to do is to factor the s squared minus 2x minus 3. Then it would equal to x minus 3 times x plus 1. The method I use to figure out the LCD would be using your eyes and see if the variables phrases are not repeated, because the second term has already had the s minus 3. So LCD between these two phrases would be s minus 3 times s plus 1. LCD of s minus 3s squared minus 3s minus 4 and s squared minus 2s minus 3. Factoring the last two phrases will have s plus 1 times s minus 4 and s plus 1 times s minus 3. Because the x plus 1 and x minus 3 have repeated twice, so we just need to show x plus 1 and x minus 3 once. So the LCD should be x plus 1 times x minus 3 and x minus 4. The next vocabulary is non-permissible values, or we can call it restrictions. The easiest explanation would be the denominator must not be 0, otherwise the world will be explode. And the first one is x plus 1 divided by x minus 1. And the x minus 1 is on the denominator, so x minus 1 cannot be 0 and x cannot be 1. Next, x plus 1 divided by x plus 3 times x minus 9. So x plus 3 and x minus 9 cannot be 0, and x cannot be negative 3 and 9. Next, the third vocabulary will be factor. What factor actually means is to expand the phrases. Factor x squared minus 3x minus 4. Negative 4 times 1 will have negative 4, and negative 4 plus 1 will have negative 3. So this phrase is equal to x minus 4 times x plus 1. And we have finished reviewing the vocabularies. Let's go back to our topic. 6.3 adding and subtracting rational expressions. First, let us talk about some cases of this topic. Case 1. Denominators are the same. Express each answer in simplest form. Identify all non-permissible values. Look at this expression. The denominator are the same, so the first thing we need to do is to find out the restriction. So the restriction would be x cannot be negative 1 and 3. And next we should add the numerators together, then we have 2x squared minus x plus 3 minus 6s minus 8 divided by s minus 3 times x plus 1. Simplify it, we'll have 2x squared minus 7x minus 5 divided by x minus 3 times x plus 1. Let's come to case 2. Denominators are different. Simplify. What are the non-permissible values? First thing we need to do to this expression is factoring. After factoring, we'll have x minus 2 times x plus 3 and x plus 1 times x plus 3 on the denominators, so we can get to know the restriction of this expression. And because x minus 2, x plus 1, and x plus 3 cannot be 0, so x cannot be 2, negative 1, and negative 3. And then the LCD of this expression should be x minus 2 times x plus 3 times x plus 1. After figuring out the LCD, then we can make up s squared minus 1 minus s squared minus 4s minus 4 divided by the LCD. Simplify it, we get 4s minus 5 over s minus 2 times s plus 3 times x plus 1. Let's use rational expression to solve real-life problem. A cyclist rode the first 20-kilometer portion of her workout at a constant speed. For the remaining 16-kilometer portion of her workout, she reduced her speed by 2 km per hour. Write an algebraic expression for the total time of her bike ride. For the first portion, the distance would be 20 km, and the speed is x km per hour. So the time for first portion is 20 over x hour. For the remaining portion, the distance is 16 km, and the speed had changed into x minus 2 km per hour. So the time would be 16 over x minus 2 hour. Then we could get the total times would be equal to 20 over x plus 16 over x minus 2 and simplify it. 20 times x minus 2 plus 16s over s times x minus 2. Don't forget to put the restrictions. The restriction should be x cannot be 0 or 2. Then the answer should be 36s minus 40 over x times x minus 2. Then we come to equation. And what's the difference between equation and expression? The equation is the phrase with equal sign, and the expression is the phrase without equal sign. And here comes to 6.4 rational equations. Case 1. Solve a rational equation. Solve the following equation. What values are non-permissible? First we're gonna do is to factor the equation. Factoring y squared minus 9y plus 18 will have y minus 3 times y minus 6. The LCD would be y minus 3 times y minus 6. And we can know that the restrictions should be y cannot be 3 and 6. Then time the LCD into the numerators. The easier method I use to deal with this kind of problem is to time the one of the LCD that the phrase doesn't have into the numerator. For this case, y minus 3 times y minus 6 is the LCD. In the first phrase, 9 over y minus 3. The denominator doesn't have y minus 6, so just time y minus 6 into the numerator, then cross out the y minus 3. And using this method, I can easily get 9 times y minus 6 minus 4 times y minus 3 equal to 18. So y equal to 12. After we got the solution, we should always verify or check the solution. Substitute the solution into the original equation. If the left side of equation equal to the right side of equation, then the solution is correct. Let's come to the second case. Case 2. Rational equation with an extraneous root. Solve what are the non-permissible values. First of all, we should factor it and get the LCD would be x plus 2 times x minus 3. The restriction should be x cannot be negative 2 or 3. Then x minus 3 times 2, 3x, and x plus 2 times 2, 5. And the right side would be negative 25. The next step would be 3x squared minus 9x minus 5x minus 10 equal to negative 25. So next we will have 3x squared minus 14x plus 15 equal to 0, and further it will get x minus 3 times 3x minus 5 equal to 0. So x minus 3 equal to 0 or 3x minus 5 equal to 0. So the solution will be x equal to 3 or x equal to 5 over 3. And let's check the solutions. Because the restriction is s cannot be negative 2 or s cannot be 3. So s equal to 3 doesn't work. Substitute s equal 5 over 3 into the original equation. we'll have the left side equal to 225 over 44, and the right side will also equal to 225 over 44. So left side is equivalent to the right side, therefore s is equal to 5 over 3. Case 3. Use a rational equation to solve a problem. A train has a scheduled run of 160 km between two cities in Saskatchewan. If the average speed is decreased by 16 km per hour, the run will take 1 over 2 hours longer. What is the average speed of the time? Let's the average speed is x, then the change speed will be x minus 16, and the distance is 160. So the original time used would be 160 over x, and change time used would be 160 over x minus 16. So the equation has to be 160 over x minus 16 minus 160 over x equal to 1 over 2. The restriction will be x cannot be 16 or 0. Simplify it, we will have 160 x minus 160 times x minus 16 equal to 1 over 2 x minus 16. The solution we will have is 80 or negative 64. So check the solution. The average speed cannot be negative, so s equal to negative 64 doesn't work. And substitute 80 into the original equation. It will come to 160 over 80 minus 16 minus 160 over 80 will equal to 5 over 2 minus 2 and equal to 1 over 2. So it's equal to 80. So this is the end of my video, and the most questions are found in the textbook, so you can check the textbook if you want. Thanks for concentrating, and thanks for still being awake.